Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmy from Emmy Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. Anyways, if this is not your first time, thank you for coming back. You guys, I apologize in advance for who I am today. I asked what this reading was going to be about, and what I heard is they are realizing the most profound truths. Whew. So someone's realizing something. Someone's realizing something. I tell you, I'm realizing. So I've been in the process of completing final exams for the third cycle of my certification program. And if I can just, toot just for a second. My students are amazing. 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 The level of my feeling of pride over my students' accomplishments. Mm. Mm. Whew. I'm saying we're halfway through one-on-one final exams, and whew, my gosh. I am so proud of every single one of them. Every single one. Oh my God. And y'all, if you don't already know, my expectations are ridiculous. I'm not even joking. My expectations and the level of excellence that I expect my students to reach are ridiculous. And not a single one has let me down. Not a single one has disappointed me. So I just want to take a moment to share that with y'all. I just want to take a moment, it's important. It's important. So there's going to be other realizations that are being had over these next couple days. Okay. Whatever these realizations are for you guys, I hope that it's something amazing. All right. I'm going to try and stay as focused as possible, as focused as my squirrel brain can allow. I got home earlier today, and there was a squirrel in the tree in front of the house that I'm at. And I got out of the car and I was like, get out of my tree. There's only room for one squirrel in this neighborhood, and it's me. And I'm not joking. All right, let's get started. Okay, so there's a lot of ugliness here. A lot of ugliness directed at the self. So for those who might resonate with this reading, this sense of a lack of power that, it's almost like you're feeling as though you have no power over your life. You have no control. My mom used to say this phrase, and it used to drive me nuts whenever she'd say it, right? Because I saw her as someone who held tremendous amounts of power during her lifetime, but she just never really utilized it. And so it's this phrase of oh, I'm at the mercy. She used to say that. I'm at the mercy. You're not at the mercy. Become assertive, dictate what you need, and give people the opportunity to honor what you have just communicated, right? And it's this thing of realizing that I had to witness those events, those words, the way they played out, so many times over the course of my mother's life to help form my perception of my power over myself, right? So you're going to need to really begin realizing how powerful you actually are over your life. And I am so happy to share that at the end of my mother's life, the last couple months that she was alive, my God, the little spitfire, the little spitfire that she became. And like, ain't nobody can tell her what to do, down to her refusing her medications, much to my freaking stress. So that was a beautiful thing, though, for her to have been able to experience the knowing that no one really can force her to do anything. It's her choice, right? So it's my hope that whatever you guys are needing to realize, that part of what you realize is that you are so ridiculously powerful over yourself, over your life. No one else can dictate things to you and force you to comply. No one else. No one else. I love it when you talk about your mom. Oh, thank you, Lisa. I love talking about her too. I try not to talk about her too much, but I love talking about her because she's like life in a nutshell, you know, life in a nutshell, where she was able to really experience all the different aspects of growth and existence in her single lifetime. It was beautiful. I needed quite a few years to come to terms with what I was witnessing. I didn't have the maturity and the heightened intelligence to understand the gravity of what she was gifting me as I witnessed her live her life. Because she had the courage to gift me that experience, to witness her life being lived as it was, it helped me to really come to terms with my understanding of my power over myself and my life. And I hope that you guys are reaching a point in your journey where you're coming to that understanding as well, that you are ridiculously powerful over yourself, not over other people. If your definition of power is how readily you could dominate someone else, I mean, that's a bit assholish, don't you think? It is. It's a bit assholish. Please don't do that. Okay, so clearance in reverse. There's nothing that you need to sweep under that rug. Boom. You see that? There's nothing you need to sweep under the rug. There are a lot of things that you probably need to allow yourself to pick up off the floor. Is that what it is? You need to clean up the mess that you've allowed someone to make in your perception, in your life. If at some point you have somehow given another person the permission and the access to create a mess in your life, in your space, you could retract that permission. You can change your mind. You can change your mind and be like, no, you're not allowed to do that here. And they're going to have to comply because you're not going to allow them to change your mind, right? A lot of us give people permission for things that we didn't realize we had the option of not giving consent. You can't hold yourself to a standard that you were not aware existed. So this is not about needing to attack yourself. This is not about being ashamed and feeling weak and disempowered. No, if you weren't aware that you could say no, now you're aware. So choose better for yourself from this point forward, okay? Shadow. There's a lot of things that you're hiding from yourself. The things that you're hiding from yourself are the things that have the capacity to protect you, to be your voice during times of conflict, right? For many of us, we are conditioned by life, by our environment, by societies, by all sorts of different things of how to efficiently shut our voice down, shut our truth down. Well, I'm here existing as the antithesis to that. I'm here to encourage you and show you how to speak louder so that the people who have a hard time hearing because their ear canal is full of this waxy bullshit buildup, where they can only hear when it's bullshit. I'm here to teach you how to like really bellow from the belly, really make sure your needs and what you need to communicate is heard, right? One of the best ways to be heard is to speak in a space where your words are valued. Ooh. I think that's directed towards the people who feel as though just because you speak, everyone has to hear you. Some people are incapable of hearing you, and some people are incapable of allowing you to be heard, right? So, if that's the case, if either of those two are the case, you need to stop wasting your energy and your voice on them. You have to go into the environments that allow you to be heard, right? That are not necessarily allowing you to be heard because they're giving you permission to speak. No, they're allowing you to be heard because they are very attentively waiting to hear. I think for many of us, we don't exist in those types of environments where people are waiting to hear the wisdom coming out of us, right? We primarily, or the most common types of environments that we exist within are environments where most people will only listen enough to be able to form a new launching pad for their response. The moment I determine that someone is only listening enough to be able to, um, you know, toot their own horn, that's the moment I go quiet. And you'll know I'm in that type of environment because at first I'm contributing information and then I get very quiet. And then when you ask me something directly, I'd be like, I don't know. Oh, I do know, but I don't want to tell you because I'm not going to waste my time. If if you're needing to be heard, you need to maybe ask yourself, what is it that you're trying to communicate? Who is needing to hear this? Why do they need to hear this? And what is the ramifications on you and your journey if they don't? Right? If someone is hurting you, being hurtful and harmful towards you, um, and you know, you got to make sure that you're taking your needs into consideration. You got to really make sure that you're not staying in hostile environments any longer than you need to. Okay. Healer in reverse. So, this is kind of for those who need to realize you're not here to simply heal other people, that the people you help to heal are people who have, excuse me, volunteered to help you cultivate your abilities so that you are more efficient when you go to heal yourself, right? My mom used to say most people only listen with ears, not heart. Find people who listen with both. Ooh, I love that, Lisa. You are just full of these nuggets. I love that. My mom used to say most people only listen with ears, not heart. Find people who listen with both. Amen to that. Amun Ra, boo. Amun Ra. um, I once heard that the original meaning of the word amen, is so mote it be, right? So let it be. Let it be that. Let that be your truth. Let that be your environment. Let that be the types of interactions that you have with the type of people you need to have it with. So mote it be. Banishment in reverse. You need to collect these rejected aspects of yourself. This is the period where your power is going to increase if you let it. How will it increase, Emmy? Well, you're going to have to get the savage parts of you outside of your shadows. You have to stop hiding those parts away because Just because you have those savage aspects does not make you a savage. It's how you apply that savagery. If the savagery you are applying is applied at an appropriate time, at an appropriate measure, then it's not savagery, it's a correction. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. Right? So the other day, and I was thinking about this as I was setting up this live stream. The other day, there was someone who came onto the live stream and they were just being absolutely disgusting in a sexual way in the comments, directing it at me. And it was this thing of I absolutely felt the need and the inclination to reflect that back and emasculate them. You want to talk about your penis on my live stream, baby boo? We'll focus on your little ass penis. I'm saying, and you know damn well, I was effective in my correction, which was a necessary level of correction. Normally, I wouldn't do that to, especially to men. I mean, like, that's not necessary. Then it was. It was. So, my thought was that how much did your little feelings get hurt that you had to go and find the password to one of your troll accounts, log into that, subscribe to my channel, and wait the 20 minutes you had to wait as a new subscriber before you could comment again? That was like the equivalent of sliding your penis under the door and me taking my rubber mallet and smashing just the tip. What? I'm saying, you have to stop pushing away the parts of you that have the capacity to be your voice and defend you when you need to, when you are so inclined to do so. Now, was I defending myself? Hey, you know what? No, I was not. I was not. I was having fun at his expense, just like he intended to have fun at my expense. Mhm. I'm saying. Whew. It was fun. It was fun letting that side of me out for a moment, okay? I don't typically let that side out. It's not necessary. That day it was. Security in reverse. Okay. So, are you doing things to secure yourself, or are you using the excuse of security as a launching pad to take unnecessary action? It's like this sense of someone having hurt so badly that they don't know what else to do outside of continuing to hurt, outside of continuing the cycles that have um, so generously caused further pain. You know what I'm saying? Further further struggle, further distortion of what you perceive your purpose to be, what you perceive your worth to be, right? I found that for the people who have served as the challenges of my life, like this fucking binding. Hold on, I'm taking off my workout belt. I didn't get a chance to take it off earlier. I'm taking it off now. Good God. I'm free. Whew. Okay. Sorry for that. The waist trainer was pushing my breastises up and it felt like I was choking myself with boobs. Okay. Now I can breathe. My chest is much lower. Okay, so anywho, the people who have served as the bringers of conflict for a certain amount of my life, I felt like they were the ones that I needed to rebel against. I felt like I needed to use so much of my energy, so much of my anger and my rage to really like deliver wrath upon them, right? My wrath, my specific brand of wrath. And then I realized I was simply using them as an excuse to be able to vent some of my rage, and that I had become a person full of rage and I had been living with bottled rage. And as I began to shift my relationship with myself, I began to recognize the rage was actually grief unrecognized, unacknowledged, grief that had become so sour due to the length of expiration that it began to poison me and my perception of myself. I realized that there was this part of me that held space for the most toxic, most vindictive, most just nasty people to have access to me. Why? Why was I doing this? Well, because it would give me an opportunity to allow this nasty part of me to rise up. And then I began to realize it's not even a nasty part, it's a very hurt, very unrecognized part of me needing my attention, needing my love, that I needed to allow myself to recognize, to reunite with this portion of me so that I could return back to a space of being a whole person. And that as long as I continue to choose to engage with the very people who had the proclivity to bring drama into my life, to cause havoc within my heart, that I'd never escape the prison I created with my own thoughts, with my own words, with my own feelings and rejection of self. The shadow is not the part of you that's evil. The shadow is a part of you that cares so deeply about your perception of yourself that it allows these other aspects of you to be hidden away just so that you can um, be even a little bit more comfortable with your discomfort of yourself. Why are you uncomfortable about yourself anyways? Because someone told you you're not allowed to be this or that? You're allowed to be whoever you choose to be. No one can stop you from being who you are. And if who you identify as is someone that's less than who you are, that's still who you are in that moment because that's how you choose to exist. Not every bad thing that someone does to you needs to have a response, needs to be corrected. Not everyone, not every time. A couple years ago, there was someone who had conflict with me. And I was able to exit out of that unscathed. And oh boy, were they riled up over that. They wanted to be able to destroy me, yet they couldn't because I didn't give them permission to. And that really fractured their sense of self because they're so accustomed to being able to successfully be hurtful and harmful towards others, right? It makes them feel powerful. And I exited out of that. They couldn't access me anymore. I had no dependency on them whatsoever. And they finally became aware of their proper place in my life, which is nowhere. And so what that person did, they couldn't let it go still. It had been like what? I don't know, 6 months, a year already. I think maybe a year. And this person that we mutually knew, that original troublemaker, had conflict with that person as well. And so they're having their conflict. And that new person, that mutual person, messaged me and they forwarded me the messages where that nasty person was saying they wanted to beat me. That telling the mutual person to let me know that I should meet them in a parking lot and we fist fight. This is a guy. This is a guy wanting to fist fight with me. You know, we're about the same height, so maybe that's why maybe that's why he didn't see anything wrong with it. We're about the same height. Little man syndrome. And I told that mutual person, why are you mad? You already know they're like that. I don't know why you continue to try and get the reaction you want out of that person. They don't care about anyone. And they're a coward because the reality is they have my number. They haven't been blocked. They're a coward. They're not going to do anything. So don't let yourself get riled up. They said that to you because they know you care about me. The reality is this: you don't need them, because whatever you need, I got you. I've been had you for how long now? So don't worry about it. When me and my husband tell you we got you, we've got you. That doesn't come with conditions. You don't have to earn that. We've already decided we've got you. And you know, the best part, that mutual sent it to the individual. And that nasty individual finally understood their place. It's nowhere near me. You won't affect me any way, shape, or form. And you best believe they are aware. You send me that kind of text, I promise you, PD will be at your place of business within about 15 minutes. I'm not playing. I am not playing. I don't give a damn if my culture teaches that no matter how badly someone treats you, robs you, whatever it is, that you are not allowed to take legal action. No, I absolutely take legal action. I'm not going to excuse behaviors. Until I need to take legal action, I'm conserving my energy for myself, my growth, my excellence, my success. What are you going to choose to do with your energy? What are you going to choose? Are you going to choose to give away your precious energy? And I don't mean precious energy in a sarcastic way. Your energy is the fuel you use to create the life you deserve. So when you continuously give your energy to the people who don't deserve you, your attention, your emotion, your thoughts, you are confirming for yourself you deserve a life that is less than what you deserve. Take your energy back. Not everything people do requires a reaction, a response, or anything from you. But you best believe the things you need to respond to, you better respond with the appropriate level of intensity and force. Because when you half-ass the things that you need to respond to, you're telling them, it's okay, you can do it again. Maybe next time I'll let you get away with it. So no, get straight within yourself about what you need to use your energy for. Get straight within yourself about who deserves your time and attention. Get very, very clear within yourself about all of that. It's time to realize the people in our lives and what their proper place is. Oh, the loss of magic, the loss of potency comes from a lack of responsibility, a lack of accountability for the decisions you've made. It's not about blame, it's about recognition. It's about holding yourself accountable for what you've agreed, either passively or outright agreed to participate in. And then knowing, okay, well, if I chose option A and option A leads to this type of messy circumstance that I don't like or need, then maybe the next time this repeats, and I promise you it will repeat, the next time this repeats, I'm not going to be choosing A no matter what. I'm going to be exploring B through Z. We have way more options than we allow ourselves to see. Oftentimes, we only allow ourselves to recognize the options that will perpetuate the cycles we've become accustomed to. Are you aware of that? That you only allow yourself to see the options that will help you to perpetuate the circumstance you have become comfortable struggling and suffering through. It took me years to realize this. It took me so many years. You guys have heard me say before, I never knew there were other options. I didn't know there were other options because I had blinders on. Because I'm totally the person where if I don't see it, then maybe I can pretend that it doesn't exist, despite the fact that I feel it. I feel the pain of its existence in my life. Right? We are all seeking stability. How will you find the stability you need? Is it through balance? How will you seek that balance? Is your goal, your singular goal, balance? If you continue to seek balance, what ends up happening is you will expend tremendous amounts of energy focusing on trying to remain balanced. If you find your space of centeredness by virtue of being centered, you will naturally have as a byproduct of that existence balance, no effort. You're just balanced, right? You just have balance. That's it. So, Alchemist in reverse. This one's hard. This one's hard. A lot of us have come into this thought space that we can alchemically change our lives, that we can make some type of declaration, and everything has to kind of move in accordance to what we say, that we can proclaim our sovereignty, and the rest of creation will honor your sovereignty. And I mean, there are some things that need to be changed and other things that need to be accepted. And oftentimes, when we haven't realized yet the truth of our power, we will try and change the very things that we are needing to accept. An example of this, you're in a toxic relationship, very toxic, makes you question who you are, makes you doubt your proper place within your life, makes you question what you deserve. It's toxic. Creates so much distortion and disdain for self. It's toxic. And we think, I can make this work. Challenge accepted. I will work on manifestation. I will get twin flame healings. If I get the right crystals, I'll just shove it under their pillow. They won't know. I'll put it under the bed, the side of the bed they sleep in, and they won't know. And I'll fix this. I'll make this work. Ooh, I saw a bruja on TikTok. I'm going to pay them to do a love spell for me because this is going to work. I don't think you finished the sentence. My efforts to punish myself are going to work so long as I continue to do this. My efforts to harm my perception of who I am and what I deserve are going to work if I continue to do this. You know what happens when you do a love spell on someone? Let me tell you. If you go to someone that's not skilled, you might get attention for a couple weeks, right? Couple weeks, and then there's a high likelihood that as they begin to give you so much more of their time and attention, you'll realize like, oh, they're nasty. I don't want anything to do with them. And then they'll become stalkerish towards you. Good job. If you go to someone that's more skilled, has some learning, what could potentially happen is they could potentially tap into the mitochondria that has more lasting effects. Couple years. You'll probably be able to use this trickery for a couple years. They say that every cell in your body is renewed, cycled over after about 7 years, right? So at the 7-year mark, after you've had so much of yourself, your life, your perception of the life you're supposed to live thoroughly fucked, then they're going to realize, like, I don't even like you. 7 years of your life gone. 7 years gone. You can't get those years back. And everything that happened in those 7 years that you forced them to be your zombie slave is not even going to add to your growth. I'm sorry that I'm smiling so large. It's not even going to add to your growth. Hold on. What year was that? Was that like 2015? Maybe. So then it would be due this year. Let me see. That's what it's about. The 7 years is up. In those 7 years, the etheric code of the individual begins to build antibodies. Even if you try it again, it's not going to work. And you know what's going to happen? You would have perpetuated an addiction for 7 years. And as what you did wears off, they will hate you. And your punishment is you will always crave their presence. You will always crave the presence of the very person who hates you the most in this world. That's some shit right there. That is some shit. I can't say I'm sorry that I'm laughing. Yeah, no, that's what you created. That's what you created. So that's what you get. There's no reason for anyone to feel badly that you were successful in creating the greatest level of suffering and punishment you could ever face in your lifetime. That's what you work so hard for. That's tragic. That's tragic to a degree that's like, that's none of my business, not my monkey, not my circus, not none of that shit. I'm going to stay in my lane and drive away from the circus. I'm good off all that. Summer. Summer. Whew. By summer, for some of you, you're going to get to a place within yourself where you'll see you're in a field of sunflowers. You're in a field of sunflowers. I think these are skull caps. Maybe orchids. No, I think it kind of looks like orchids. The other side are definitely skull caps. Yellow skull cap. Let's see. Spiritual meaning, yellow skull cap. Let's see. Mood elevating substance useful for people with mild forms of depression. It's important to stay. Hold on. Skull cap helps to rebalance roots, sacral, solar plexus, and heart chakras. Total body realignment. Let's see. Protects against neurological disorders such as Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, anxiety, and depression. It's an herb of oaths and binding contracts from business agreements to romantic unions. Woo, you're going to be replaced, buddy boo. Yeah. Spirituality, success, healing, protection, power, love, luck, strength, and prosperity. Intellect, creativity, happiness, and power of persuasion. It's also associated with cowards. Ooh. Menagogue and female medicinal herbs. Let's see. Increases spirituality and protection. They're about to exit out of whoever's doing this upside down magic. They're about to exit out of your reach. Let me see. Skull cap. They're about to enter into the field of sunflowers. People who share resonance. People who can serve as sunlight during the sunless days, right? So they're about to enter, whoever this is about, they're about to enter into a space of truth and beauty and just really allowing themselves to heal, right? The wrong will be righted. Absolutely, River Soul. Absolutely, River Soul. Yes, the wrong will be righted. It will be corrected. So let's carry forward. If you're watching on Facebook, I'm not doing personal readings, y'all. I don't know why people are asking on Facebook for personal readings. This is not what this is. It's in the description right at the very top. So let's see. Okay. So there was a situation that lacked compassion that really bound the spirit. It really caused almost like a very smothering sense of imprisonment. I even get a sense of like, are you guys familiar with what waterboarding is? Am I allowed to say that? Should I not have said that? Waterboarding is not a good thing. It's a very bad thing. I don't want to describe what it is, but it really will help to suffocate you. It's a very, very just traumatic suffocation. And it's almost like that's the sense of what was done, what a person who was the receiver of this malignant magical work it's what they experienced, right? They didn't have the ability to breathe. So intuition. Woo. The message that I get from this, even if you feel like your light is not that bright, when you're dealing with someone who lives in darkness because of their malignant deeds, their malignant perceptions, you're such a bright light. You are such a bright light. You are blinding in your truth. And whoever this is, they are afraid that the recipient of their malignancy will reconnect with you. Because let me tell you, if there is any comparison that that individual does between you and the person doing the malignant magical work, there's no comparison. There's no comparison. I'm sorry. All your effort to try and be more like the person you're the most jealous of, you're still going to fail. How tragic. As you can tell, I don't feel sorry for you. And I don't feel anyone should. The reality is this: when people behave like that, it's because you're a spoiled fucking brat. And finally, it's going to bite you in the ass. It's not anyone else doing it to you. It's not a single other person doing it to you. Let's see. There's a desire to move forward. There's a desire to communicate. There is this consideration. There is this processing within the shadow self of how to move forward and how to communicate. So card number 23, move forward. 23 is a number of Regulus 23, the largest star in the Leo constellation, the Lion's Heart, which is also the star of Archangel Michael. So this is a Melchizedek power play that's going on. Shit's going to be pushed forward, and your weak ass can't stop it. Your weak ass can't stop it. This is me talking shit. Yes, absolutely. I'm not in denial. I'm talking shit because I don't like when people behave this way. I don't like when people behave this way. You upset that you finally found someone who doesn't give a shit about your feelings because you use your feelings as though it's a weapon? I don't care if you cry. Oh, I'm that bitch. I don't care if you cry. No, okay, I'll stop. I don't care if manipulative people cry. People think like, oh, she's Pisces. She'll totally buy it if I cry. Yeah, but I have Capricorn moon, and then I have Capricorn Venus. So when I say, I don't give a shit if you cry, I really mean it. I don't care if you cry. Now, when someone is sharing something difficult about their life, right? When someone is sharing something very difficult about their life and they get to this space where, you know, the emotions become intense and they are overcome with feelings. Yeah, that absolutely gets me because that's genuine. That's absolutely genuine, but if it's something where it's like you're trying to use tears, mm, to what make me feel obligated to agree with you, support you, bankroll your bullshit. Oh, baby boo, no. 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 You're lucky if I even continue to listen to what you have to say. Because oftentimes I won't even keep listening. By the way, William, I'm reporting your comment with as many things as I can report it as. I am. And then when I'm done reporting it for pretty much everything, I'm going to ban you. It would behoove you to go ahead and just delete the comment, because then that takes away my ability to continue reporting you. Religious affiliation, that's a good one. All right. I'm going to go ahead and ban you now. I'm bored, William. I'm bored. Here we go. Next card, the communication. So there's a need to move forward, right? You're trying to communicate. You're trying to move forward. You're trying to communicate. You don't know how to communicate. You don't know what to communicate. So what ends up happening is there's a need to enter into the shadow self. And as you enter into that shadow self, you begin to recognize the very aspects of you that have the capacity to communicate the raw truth of what needs to be communicated. So then it becomes an entirely new conversation. It becomes something that carries with it the capacity to sustain a long-term connection, a long-term type of developing, expanding, healthy connection. Okay. You don't want to just connect with people because, bad things have happened to you and you just need someone there. I can understand why you would want that. But the reason you should not make that a goal is because there's a very high likelihood that the bond you are forming is a trauma bond. And that's not going to be, a connection that serves you when you're ready to finally enter into a space of healing. It's not going to serve you. It's going to be something that's very feels supportive at first, and then suddenly it's not. And when it's not, it's not, right? Unconditional love in reverse. Rather than forming trauma bonds, I think the most important thing is to correct this misplacement of unconditional love. For many empaths, especially Pisceans, we have this ability to give unconditional love to other people, but we lack the ability, the desire, and the willingness to give it to ourselves. I'm working on this as well. We're trying to enter and stay in a place of elevations of self-love. I'm not talking about going to the spa, getting my nails done, treating myself, buying myself. No, I'm talking about truly loving myself, allowing myself to recognize where I'm at within my journey, where I'm at within my perception of who I am, what I'm supposed to be, what I'm supposed to be doing. If I've been able to do enough work on myself and my expectations of myself, that I can now have more realistic, gentle expectations of me from me, right? That's where I can be like, okay, girl, you're doing irritating stuff. It's not going to add to our growth, but I get it. Let's have a seat. Let's think about this. Before we do something, let's think about this first. Why are we so upset? And you'll realize if you can find the courage to have these types of conversations with yourself, where you're asking yourself the questions that when you find the answers, it sets you free. Yeah. When you can find the courage to do that, then at the end of it, you actually set yourself free. You begin to see the truth of who you are and how much love you are worthy of receiving, not just from others, but from yourself, especially. From yourself, especially. Okay. So, timeout in reverse. Whew. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. At the root of who we are, right? Because we are the tree of life. We're our own trees, right? At the root, and I've never seen this until today, there is an elder spirit that lives inside us. That is our own personal elder. As we come into these human existences that we sometimes choose to come into, um, one of the gifts from soul is the lack of remembrance of our true adult soul. We're allowed to experience once again, the infancy of soul, where we don't remember anything, where, um, you know, we get to live life as though it's for the first time. That's a gift. It's a gift. Like for many people, they're really into Disneyland, right? It's a huge deal. They like to go to Disneyland. I don't, but I'm not going to hate on you if you do. I remember as a child, I'm first generation immigrant. So as a child, very young, when my parents were able to have the budget to take all of us to Disneyland, um, it was interesting. I still have memories of it because it was such a hyped up thing, like, oh, Disneyland. And it was interesting because we get there and I'm like waiting for all of this magical stuff to occur. And there was a lot of walking and it was hot and I was tired and I had this baby doll. I was, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7. I had this baby doll that was about the size of me and it looked realistic too. And I had to bring it into Disneyland with me. And I was too fucking small to carry that shit. So who had to carry it? My oldest brother. My oldest brother. He was 13. He's a teen already. So he had to hold it. He was so mad at me. I remember that. And, we ended up going every year for summer vacation after that for quite some time. And it was just like, oh God, Disneyland again? I don't even like that place. You lose the magic of something, especially when you go to it over and over. I mean, could you imagine the magic of living life as though it was for the first time again? Despite like a lot of my previous existences, the memories from those existences being readily accessible, I still live life like it's one of my firsts. Why? Because that's a precious gift. You're not supposed to know everything. You're not supposed to exist as though you know everything and, there's nothing for you to learn here. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. I just feel the need to. Hold on really quick. Hold on, guys. I hope he answers. I don't know if he's going to answer. Yes, and yeah, that was his face through. He's not going to answer. What a stinker. Yeah, I wanted to ask him, hey, do you remember when we went to Disneyland and I had that big ass baby doll? Because y'all, I remember the pictures got his face. I was in a romper looking cute AF. And then his face was just so sour. And of course, before we went, he had to get his hair permed because that's what men did back then, right? Anywho, hope and strength. Hope is what you have until you remember how strong you actually are. Let me say that again. Hope is what you have until you remember how strong you actually are. Okay? So remember how strong you are so you don't have to rely on hope. Because for many of us, we rely on hope and it makes us feel even more hopeless and helpless. So if you just let yourself be the badass that you are, then you'll be a badass. And that's that. End of story. You're a badass. And you can power through everything that life sends your way. Perfect. Beautiful. There you go. Okay. Resources. Think of the type of resources that you have access to, whether it be financial, whether it be opportunity, connections, potentiality, whatever it is. Think of the resources you have access to, the type of resources that you should be tapping into in order to achieve the things you are destined to achieve. Now, by virtue of that destiny, you will achieve it no matter what. Now, also, by virtue of you putting in that effort, you will achieve it in a much faster, more efficient, less stressful, less frustrating way, right? There you go. Card number 7, effort, conquering your demons. You need to put some effort into conquering your demons. You need to put some effort into conquering your fears, your insecurities, and all of that. For many people, we have these insecurities that we don't think we have the ability to conquer. That is false. That's not true. You have the ability to conquer whatever you set your mind to, even if you have ADHD. Do you know how much I've conquered in my life with ADHD and dyslexia up in that mix? Saying. Card number 20, returning, going with the flow. It's time for you to come back to yourself. It's time for you to go with the flow as you return back to your original state of greatness. The things that you've been going through are literally nothing more than you loading the charge for that forward trajectory. So, something goes wrong in life, you feel like you've been held back. Something else goes wrong in life, you feel like you're pulled back even further. Oh my gosh, now I'm frustrated because life keeps pulling me backwards, even though I'm trying so hard. And because now you have that mindset and that feeling, which is valid, you're pulled back even further, and then even further, and even further. Did you know all you have to do is let go for you to be launched forward very quickly? Onward ho! Like that. You know what I'm saying? So my brother had a pit bull when, years ago, long time ago. This is the most well-behaved pit bull I've ever come across. We just adored her. Her name was Jessica. And totally docile, well-behaved, good manners, never begs, none of that. And he would go like this. He would be like, Jesse, cool. And then she would just look confused and like take off running. She didn't know what she was going to run towards because she's not aggressive, but it's just like that. So why don't you train yourself to begin just being, I guess you could say, reactive to that forward movement? Not reactive in a negative way, but reactive in that you're going to charge forward even more when you see that hand movement. When soul is giving you that hand movement, that's your sign to excel. It's something you can teach yourself to do. Like for me, um, I've taught myself over the years, intentionally taught myself that when someone comes against me, right? When um, someone makes it clear that their intention, their sole reason for existing at that time is to try and destroy me. Oh my God, I get all giddy because now we're really going to go forward. Now we're really going to excel. Like before, I was only halfway doing it. It was totally half-ass. But now it's going to have both ass cheeks, maybe some thigh too. I'm really going to go for it now. Whatever it is that you don't want me to do, that's what I'm going to do extra of. And no, people can't use the knowledge of this part of me against me. You know why? Because I'm not dumb. Because I can tell when someone is trying to manipulate me. And at that point, nothing they do even registers in my field of awareness. I'm just like, no, I don't care. See, I care about a lot of things passionately. Things like that, people like that, I don't care. I don't. I don't care. It's like when the manipulator cries. I'm totally like, I don't care. You've gotten good at that, though. Congratulations. Choice, understanding consequences, but see, it's in reverse. Whoever this is, see that? They didn't realize they had a choice. Their choice was removed from their grasp. They did not realize they had a choice. This person right here, it's because someone was standing upon their crown. Someone was in a place of, domination over them. And whoever this someone is, they're a lot smaller than this personality they try and project out into the world. They're not as impenetrable or untouchable as they try and pretend themselves to be. You see all of these heads of dragons, I look at it and I'm like, oh, a hydra. And they're like, I'm untouchable because I'm commanding a hydra. Bitch, an arrow right there. I'm saying, boop, you're out. I'm saying, look at that. They're fully exposed because they think they're in a position of power when in reality, they are the most powerless one. The only power they are wielding is a power of persuasion through manipulation. So, card number 24, freedom, breaking the chains. That person's going to be out. Whoever it is, whoever you are, when it's time for you to exit, you will. When it's time for you to let go of the tension that you hold inside you, you are like the arrow and the bow. The intensity of the levels of tension you hold inside you is equivalent to the intensity of your forward movement as soon as you let go. All you have to do is let go. Oh, but Emmy this, Emmy that, I can't. Oh, that. Okay. What do you mean, okay? Okay. I'm not here to convince you of a truth that I know exists. Just like you're not here to hear the actual truth. So, okay. You believe that? Okay. But Emmy, I don't know how to let go. You see, it's easy. Make a fist and then open it. You've let go. So picture everything that's kept you stuck in this life that you are miserable in. See it in your palm and grip it tight. This is everything you know about yourself and your life. You want to move forward? open your hand, but everything will fall out. Exactly. What do I do once it falls out? You move forward because now you've let go. But there's no but. You can't have everything your way. You can't be free while you hold on. And you can't hold on expecting to be freed. In that situation, it's one or the other. But you're asking me to leave behind everything I know. I'm not asking you to do anything. I'm answering a question. How do you let go? You close your hand and you open it. But what about what I leave behind? That's no longer yours to worry about. But there's no but. There's just no buts. You're either going to make a decision to move forward and into a space of thriving, or you're not. There's no right or wrong. There's just an awareness of what you're deciding. There's only an awareness of what you're deciding. There's no right or wrong. There's an awareness of your capacity and your willingness to be in control of your life, or the opposite of, where you're going to perpetuate the ideas that someone else is controlling you, that someone else is in charge of you, that it's someone else's responsibility to keep you happy, to keep you fed, to maintain your peace, a peace that never actually existed because you've never actually known what peace is, right? And we can come up with all of these ideas and reasonings as to why we stay. Like, I see a comment. It was just the intimacy that held me, but I realized he can't be the only man good in bed. Could you imagine being intimate with someone who you are not compatible with and you enjoy that? Could you imagine allowing yourself to connect with a person who you are compatible with those same types of intimacy skills developed? I mean, you're going from a bar hopping booty call to a tantric experience. I'm just saying. Sometimes some people don't enjoy their intimacy partner because they don't have the depth of connection, intellectual and emotional, to be able to enjoy each other physically in that way. I came across this woman's video where she's totally like low-key shaming other people who don't believe in promiscuity, right? She's like, I'm a real woman, so I don't waste my time dating people. I F on the first date, and if I don't like what I experience, I'm not going to waste my time. Mm. You're cool. You're cool. I mean, if that's how you want to live your life, I have no qualms with that. That's your life. But then she made the mistake of making other comments, which is like, at which point I totally felt like I had to take up for another woman who was apologizing for having standards and living by those standards. And I will tell y'all, I'm old school AF. I don't F on the first day, the second day, the third day, the fourth day, the fifth day, the sixth day, the 10th day, the second month, the third. Like, I got to really be feeling you. I got to really be. And I just don't be feeling people, I'm saying. I'll be feeling my husband, though. Mm-hmm. I think people really need to make sure that they understand the connectivity that occurs during sexual intercourse. There are layers to our existence. Sexual intercourse, the act of fornication, allows for direct port injection that has a capacity to bypass all of your shields. Do you know what this means? I mean, I wouldn't say that that person was gross just because, she has no qualms with being so, I don't know. I'm trying to not be derogatory in what I say. Like, it's none of my business if someone is promiscuous or not. Like, whatever, that's your personal choice. But my problem was that it was this thing of shaming other women for not choosing to be promiscuous. That's not okay. Like, you live your life, you choose what was good for you. But it's not okay to tell other women they're less than women because they don't F on the first date. So going back to what I was saying, um direct port injection. So there's this um star seal that's about 2 inches below your belly button. Um and that's energetic. It's energetic. That crystal star seal is responsible for dispersing energy through your entire auric field. That's the point that's used. So when you line up a male member and a female's anatomy, that's direct port injection with instant dispersion. So when they have a devil D, like you said, that's just spread all around you now. Mhm. That's totally dispersed into your environment. Don't matter if you know how to shield, you allowed internal entry. So it's not that I'm trying to shame anyone, okay? You choose what's right for you. But because of my awareness of energetic ramifications of intimacy, no, thank you. 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 Card number 19, independence, carving your own path, allowing yourself to be the very one to dictate to you which direction you'll go. You know what I'm saying? So, carving out your own path. The path of soul is a wilderness. There is no path. You are the first one traversing those lands within you, right? So, it is your job, it is part of your obligation to yourself to carve the path for yourself so that you could be aware of the places you've come from. You can't carve a path if you've never been to that place. So it's not a path that takes you to your future. It's a path that serves as the map to show you where you've been. It's easy to forget what we've accomplished, what we have managed to achieve during our lifetime. It's so easy to forget. But when you go ahead and live in a way where you carve your own path, you get to see firsthand, without a shadow of a doubt, how far you've come, how much traveling you've done. That's so important. It's so important to know these things, to allow an awareness of these things. Sorry, gotta put that there. Let's pull a final card because I want to watch TV before my next appointment. I'm saying, I do. Let me see, what time is my appointment? Okay, yes, I have time. There was a question. Okay. See, John. Hey, girl. Is there a way to get that energy out of the woman? So, it's a complex topic. I will answer it like this. There's no easy way to get that energy out of a woman or a man. There's no easy way. So think of it in these terms. For whatever reason, you need a blood transfusion, right? Granted, that's a need. And sexual intimacy is not necessarily a need, a life sustaining need, right? But it works very similarly. Because when you get a blood transfusion, you are allowing the energy, the plasma of another to enter into your system. How do you separate transfused blood from your natural blood? How do you separate that? I mean, it's mixing through all your organ systems. How do you separate it? How do you clear that? How do you clean it? So, what they do with blood when it's donated before they give it to a patient, before they introduce it into another body, I do believe they do all of the testing and all of that to make sure. And they also ask all of these questions of the individual donating the blood, right? Have you this? Have you that? All of these different things. So that's definitely something you need to keep in mind. And then when you also take into consideration, like, certain blood types cannot accept from other blood types. That's why sometimes we're having intimacy with individuals and we're not even compatible. And it's something that really wreaks havoc on our body. Why? There's not a compatibility there. And so there's no easy, clear way to fully resolve this. It takes a lot of effort, a lot of different processes. I have friends whose husbands have cheated on them. They always want to know how to be able to remove that energy from themselves. I'm so sorry for your friends. Depending on, the individual and their personal process, I mean, there's things that can be attempted. The efficacy, that's kind of up in the air. It depends on how much that's infiltrated into their perception of themselves and their truth. The deeper into your core you take in that betrayal, the harder it is to dig it out. So it's something that can become a very complex thing. It can be a very, very, very complex thing, because as it begins to infiltrate the entire body and become integrated into the fascia will then communicate those distorted codes into the chakras, which then communicate it to the soul, enters it into the morphogenetic template. That's how some people will develop karmic ties, karmic relationships, like all of those different things. It depends. It's a lot of work that has to be done to remove that. And I'm totally one that if I'm going to offer a service to the general public, I have to have an elevation in my levels of confidence that it will be successful. I don't offer this publicly because I can't guarantee. I can't feel confident to the degree that I need to feel confident. And so I can't offer it publicly. One of the best things that someone could do if they're really concerned about that extended mentorship. That will give me the opportunity to have checkups with you, scheduled checkups. It will also give me the opportunity to teach you the different exercises, techniques that you need to do yourself in order to continue the clearing process. It'll also give me the ability to really, really take my time and be extra meticulous in my thoroughness. So, there's no easy answer. There's no quick answer. I'm going to just pull one last card. And yeah. All right. I hope that answered your question, C. John. And then also, for anyone, who I'll put her question on the screen. I forgot to. For anyone who's resonating with this question, you have the same concern, but you don't want to comment. You don't have to comment. You deserve your privacy. The thing is this: sometimes there's already this predetermined need to experience that type of betrayal in this life. I'm not trying to excuse it, okay? But sometimes that's like a continuation of something in the previous life that's being bled over into this life in order to finish out that cycle, to close out that lesson. So there's so many factors that are entering into that type of circumstance. It's not always, and it's usually not even it's not, how would I word this? It's not common for the whole cheating thing and the violation of trust and the betrayal to that degree. It's not common for that to not be karmic in nature. Most cheating type situations extend from a previous life lesson that didn't close out. It was left open-ended, and now you're closing it out. So again, it doesn't excuse the behavior. A betrayal is a betrayal is a betrayal. I don't give a shit. If it was destined, you betray my ass, you're going to have fucking hell to pay for that shit. I'm saying, don't play with my feelings. Don't play with my feelings when you know I dabble in the cray-cray. I would not take that well. I would not take that well at all. I wouldn't. Where you're exposing me to someone else's energetic. I'm serious. No, thank you. No, thank you. All right. That's my thing. Like, don't, no. 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 All right. Here goes. Ooh. Card number 25. Okay. Okay, card number 25, beyond the threshold of fear. Enter the lion's jungle. Don't think about getting hurt. Fearful thoughts are phantoms of the mind. No one is harmed in this jungle. Everything is compassion and love. It is your fear holding you back, like a bar behind the door. How I celebrate for you after so long away from home, you're finally returning. Beyond the threshold of fear, you dispense with your doubts, hesitations, cautions, and tentativeness. They are old friends with whom you no longer have anything in common. Goodbye, old friends. I wish you well, you say, while turning your face to the burgeoning light of a new and yet ancient world. You are visiting as though for the first time, and yet somehow also remember deep in your sacred heart. Finally, we can sit together in the charming courtyard at home. We shall tell our tales of adventure and laugh, and we'll dance and sing. Eventually, day shall pass into night, and we'll gaze beneath our feet, our mouths gaping open in awe and minds utterly blank, rendered dumb in sweet submission to the beauty as we watch the world spinning on her axis. After so long, you're changing your relationship to fear. No more shall it hold you in its thrall. You're becoming able to observe it, to witness it, even to have compassion rather than resistance. Instead of unconsciously sabotaging your growth and choosing to slumber in darkness, you awaken and delight in the light and sound of your divine being. Push and pull, one step forward and a half step back. So it has been for so long, and you have endured. Yes, you're winning the race, brave one, and fear is left to fizzle out. It was always a far less beautiful firework than your passionate conviction for love anyway. Better to let that dazzling firework come to light instead, much more satisfying. What a spiritual marathon you've been running. Now the end is in sight. You're drinking the sacred waters to replenish you from your journey. The cups are pushed into your hands by encouraging angels as you approach that blessed sash marking the finish line. Your body and soul are on this journey together, and now they are ready for victory. And yes, to rest and recover from the effort. Rest now before a new adventure begins from a completely different state of being. This oracle comes with spiritual guidance for you. You have broken through a barrier, a self imposed barrier of fear, whether it seemed to originate from within your consciousness or from an external set of circumstances that held you back from taking the steps you're now taking or just about to take. These steps may feel strange, new, uncertain, and exciting. Your mind might not have received the memo that fear based existence is no longer in operation for you. It may need a loving, tender, reassuring, and firm update that the relationship you have with fear is now rather different. You are the witness, not the victim. Your consciousness is strong enough to hold it in compassion. You don't collapse under its weight. In fact, it's becoming less and less substantial for you. When it's there, it seems less convincing than what it once appeared to be. Compelling still at times, perhaps, but not anywhere near as powerful as it once was. That power has been claimed by your heart. Give your mind the memo. Get used to the new way and take steps. Test your legs. You'll find them powerful and ready. Get set to fly. Test your wings. Trust is one, daring is the other. You'll find them enthusiastic for flight and ready to learn to ride the currents. Purpose built for soaring to great heights. Trust in your vision. Without the murky filter of fear, it is sharp and clear. You can see what is meant for you, what is true for you, what is beckoning you forward now. Take the running leap. There is no darkness and light for you anymore, just life, living, free and clear. I'll be running and flying beside you. We'll soar and dive and rise together. Let's play. So, there is just so much that we are not allowing ourselves to recognize about life, about who we are, about how we are in this life. And, if it's something that you don't want to allow, well, then it's not going to happen. It's not going to be the life you deserve if you're not going to allow yourself to live the life you deserve, right? Give me 1 second. Ooh. Wild child. I resonate with this card. Healing now after a 44-year illusion of marriage. I am loving myself while standing in my sovereignty. Woo! The power of that. Power of that. Now that is a declaration. To be able to stand in your sovereignty because of the process of falling in love with yourself again, falling in love with your truth, your reality, your power, your potential, your purpose. I'm coming to tentative conclusions that it's the hardships that develop our conviction. It's the hardships we face that cultivate the passion into something usable, something we can apply to our lives to enrich it. Life is beautiful in that way, where we can allow the hardships to be the very thing, the impetus, that catalytic combustion that reignites our sacred flame. Like, ooh. Wild child, thank you for being an inspiration today, for sharing of the struggle that's serving as a catalyst for your life, for your growth, for your expansion into the truth that you are about to step into, a lifelong existence of purpose. I love that. I love that a lot. You guys, this was an awesome chat. This was definitely an awesome chat, awesome reading. I hope that whoever needed to have a realization of some profound truth that will help usher you into the next part of your life, I hope that you heard what you needed to hear in order to realize the very thing you've been in the process of realizing. There's nothing I can do for you that you aren't already doing for yourself. I simply am serving as a validation and confirmation of the instructions you're receiving from your soul already. Allow yourself to hear your soul. Allow yourself to remain in pure alignment with what your soul is asking you to learn, to experience, to witness. Life is so beautiful in that way. So, so beautiful. Y'all, please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe. Turn on that notification bell. Join me when I'm live. I will see you guys again very, very soon. Bye, everyone.